Welcome to Event Radio, covering local drag racing, stock car racing, motorcycles, go-karts. If it's got wheels and you can race it, you'll hear about it here. Event Radio is motorsports radio on steroids. Now, let's join your hosts, Spivvy Williams and Terrible T Guy.
Welcome, everybody, to the next edition of Event Radio. We hope you're enjoying our new format. We're really excited about all the things we're going to be able to bring you as we get it going on really good. Maybe a little later on we'll even be able to throw a little video in there and maybe start using a GoPro a little bit, and we may even bring you the races live. Who knows? But we're getting better every day and learning more about what we're doing every day. We're sorry we had a mistake or two in the past, but we're going to get them fixed. But this time of the year, most everybody everywhere in the country is still digging out of the snow, and everywhere except down south. And one special place always this time of the year, Daytona Beach, Florida, the home of Speed Weeks. Everything starts getting cranked up down there, and it becomes extremely excited in the world of auto racing and motorsports in general. One thing that's really cool about Speed Weeks goes on right at the end of February. And every year it's Bike Week, and that's what Daytona is known for, is the Daytona 500 and, of course, Bike Week. Some 800,000 of you guys wind up ascending Daytona Beach, and all the motorcyclists just go and have a big time. It is a great event, really a ton of fun. My co-host T has been for something like 40 years in a row and never missed it, and I'm sure he's there this time. But, we're going to have a lot of fun even without him. We're going to bring you a special show today. What we're going to do is sort of introduce you to some of the wild and crazy motorcycle guys that we've had on the Event Radio in the past. Some that maybe got sort of lost in the shuffle and you got mixed them up or whatever and didn't get a chance to hear them all real well. But there are some really cool guys and some really cool people that have been on our shows. And we enjoyed it so much, we wanted to give you a second chance while the weather's still a little chilly and just as the season starts getting kicked off, where you can enjoy it and sit back in the warm house and listen to the guys and get all cranked up, ready to have a lot of fun. We appreciate more than you know you joining us on Event Radio. We want you to sit back and just sort of kick back and let's go bike riding. We'll talk real quick. All right, guys, you are back on Event Radio. I have my guest joining me, and trust me, I feel a little honored to be here to have this gentleman on this show. Mr. Bill Balance, how are you, bud?
I'm doing good. It's
we had a good dinner, boy. You bought dinner. I feel privileged, man. Gee, we had a Mexican dinner that was awesome, and we've been talking a little bit. You say you feel pretty good?
Yeah, I've been feeling pretty good. We're just real busy on the farm right now, and that's about it. Got to go up to a GNCC race last weekend. It was the last race of the season for them, and Walker Fowler, which was one of the guys that I picked up and when I started my race team after my racing career was over. He was one of the guys that he was one of the first picks that I'd had, and I worked with him for a couple of years.
So you're sort of like that voice on TV. You're picking the superstars now, right?
Well, the reason I was going up there is because he was wrapping up his very first championship of his career. So I wanted to be there for that, and Yamaha wanted me to be there. So we went up and did some stuff with that, and it was a lot of fun.
Now, correct me, but there is a Bill Balance edition Yamaha four-wheeler. Am I correct there?
Yes, from 2006 all the way to 2010, there was a Bill Balance edition that Yamaha did do. That's right. They did the number one plates that I ran, and a lot of the sponsors and stuff that I had in my career at that time. They put those sponsors on there, incorporated a few of the race parts that they could legally, but a person could go, and if they were wanting to buy a Yamaha YFZ 450, they could actually buy the Balance Edition, and it come equipped a little bit better for the guy that was going to get into serious racing.
Yeah, I was going to play pretty hard. In other words, yeah, yeah. Well, that's good. You know, there again, guys, we told you how important this gentleman was, and that just sort of gives you an idea. There's not many guys out there. Chevrolet hadn't named too many of their cars, so we've got there's a Yamaha 4-wheeler with Mr. Balance's name and all over it, and that's pretty cool. You know, we talked at dinner a little bit on the 4-wheeler has to be the most physically hardest thing to put through the woods, buddy. Why in the world did you do that instead of a bike?
Well, that's a good question. You know, a lot of the guys, I started out, the very first thing that my parents got me was a little dirt bike. And that's what I started riding for the first 3 or 4 years. And then, you know, when I come into the sport, 3-wheelers, you know, then come up. And that was the going thing for a while before the 4-wheelers came out. And we spent a good amount of time riding 3-wheelers on the farm, and the 4-wheelers come out, and we thought that was the grandest thing in the world because they handled so much better than the old 3-wheelers. But, you know, on the farm, my dad got into quads, and that's what I spent my time on, and I fell in love with that, and that's just where my career took me.
Well, I mean, now you're a well-conditioned young man, but you're not the Hulk. And then you got to throw those things around, buddy, and that's got to be physically exhausting. I mean, they weigh at least twice what a bike weighs.
Yeah, you're talking about 450 pounds,
yeah.
And you're talking motors that's 60 to 70 horsepower. And for the GNCC racing that I did, they were 2-hour races, so there was a lot of physical training that we had to do to be competitive, for sure.
I can't lift a fork for 2 hours, much less, you know, give me a break. God, you know, 2 hours. Most motocrosses are like 30-minute sessions, you know.
Right.
And I've watched some of your stuff on YouTube, and guys, you can go on YouTube and you look up Mr. Bill Balance, and you can watch him ride these things and show you just how good he is. But you know, that's got 2 hours, man. And the series, this is over the roughest thing imaginable. I mean, the track in Corpus, it has a little bit of everything in it, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah, you know, the motocross was more of a closed course stuff, and I did a lot of that racing, and I even did some national racing on motocross. I used motocross tracks here on the farm that we built, that we had races at, as part of our training, because, you know, motocross helped you with your physical endurance from riding. But with cross-country racing, you know, the terrain changed, whether you was in Florida, you was in flat ground and sand whoops that was waist deep for a 12-mile track. Then the tracks, as you incorporate and start coming north all the way up to New York, some in Texas. Where we went and the type terrain that was in that part of the country dictated what kind of track you had. So you had to be very versatile in your riding abilities, and you know, some races might be dry and hard packed ground with not a lot of obstacles, and it was more of a speed game. Other places we would go to would be something very, very technical, lots of hill climbs, creek crossings, mud. So everything in the world gets thrown at you.
Yeah, but how do you I mean, of course, as hard as you work on the farm, I know that's plenty of physical conditioning. But you've got to be in excellent physical shape to do 2 hours on one of those things, my friend. I mean, my hat's off to you. I don't know how you do it.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest things that, you know, you take a lot of people that we would trail ride with at home, and their thing was to go trail riding. And everybody that goes trail riding, whether it's on a dirt bike or a quad, or now it's the side-by-side new UTVs, everybody will start up and they'll ride for 5 or 10 minutes and then pull over and wait for their buddies to catch up. Or they'll do a little something and they stop to watch some people climb hills. And they think, oh, you know, a cross-country race through the trails in the woods, that's what we do every weekend. That sounds like a blast. What could there be to it? But
yeah,
what
right.
they don't realize is when you go out there for 2 hours, and in every single corner, in and out of every corner, over every bump in the trail, over every ditch you cross, over every hill you climb, you're in a full-on sprint with 400 participants that's out there, and there is every second of it you're pushing as hard as you can.
All right, now most of the tracks are a 10 to 12 mile loop, right? Am I correct?
Correct.
And so you're going to run that track for 2 hours.
Yeah.
So it's going to change every lap.
Every lap it gets more and more tore up. It gets rougher and rougher. Lines through creeks or muddy sections that might have been good one lap won't be worth a hoot the next lap, and if you took it, you'd be there stuck for an hour with 15.
How far ahead do you ride? Now, as far as I know, you do. You got to. You don't just ride at the end of the front fender. You ride how far ahead?
Oh my gosh, you're looking ahead, and with the experience that you gain through the years of racing, you never stop learning. And one of the biggest things that for a pro to be competitive, it's as much as a mind game as it is physically. You're riding through a 10 or 12 mile course, and if you go through a section that was a little bit sketchy that lap, and there might be 15 spots on that 12-mile track, you've got to remember those. And not only remember them, while you're racing, you need to be looking for those options. Okay, if I get here this next lap and there's 15 lappers hung in this spot, where could I have gone to go around this? You're allowed 25 feet on either side of the track to navigate and get through a bad section. And you've got to remember those things and try to pick out lines and being able to pass people. So it's a very big mental game as well.
Well, I noticed, and the reason I said that, I watched a thing on YouTube on you this afternoon, just trying to educate myself a little, not be a total dummy sitting here. and the thing I noticed about your style is you're methodical. You don't go wide open just haphazardly. You're very methodical. You hit the berm exactly at the right spot. You do all of that lap after lap after lap, and it just constantly gets faster on its own when you do that. And that's a talent a lot of people don't have. A lot of them think that they got to do it the first lap, and you don't win the race on the first lap.
No. Most of my wins that I had in my career was always, oh my goodness, I don't know how many races I won in the last, I want to say last mile, but in the truth, there was lots and lots of my 70-some wins as a pro racer. A lot of them was probably in the last quarter mile that I actually went from third or second.
That's what I was going to say. That's what I was going to say, is being methodical. There's an old saying, if you can't finish, you can't win.
That's exactly right.
It's pretty much impossible. All right, now you got to tell the listeners, and this is really funny. You sort of had a different way beginning the race of anybody else. You sort of told a tale to be able to run the first race, didn't you?
Yeah. I was 15 years old. I'd been riding these quads and dirt bikes and three-wheelers my whole life. And I had gotten some buddies that was in school that had quads. A couple of my friends were older gentlemen. When I was 15 years old, one of the guys that actually became my mechanic in my pro career for the first 12 years of my career, he was my mechanic. And Jimmy Duff was his name. And he was in his upper 20s, and he was riding a lot and actually doing some local races, nothing at the national level or anything like that. But, I had been on my parents. It was hard for me. I was the first child. We lived on a farm. You had to work, and you had to help out. And to be able, I had to pick one sport growing up, and sometimes I had to miss a ball game or miss practices because there was too much work going on the farm. So when it come time that I wanted to start going racing, all my buddies was telling me, hey, you're just fast out here, man. We go out here riding with you on the weekend, and we never see you at the races. You've got to get to a race. So I'd been dying to get to a race somewhere, and I had asked, and Mom and Dad was, no way, you'll get hurt. Something will happen. So one day, I'd been told no long enough and too many times, and I had come up with a story and told my buddy Jimmy that my parents said that it was okay for me to race, so I had lied to him, and I had told my parents that I was going on a trip with Jimmy to do a trail ride, and I think I actually told him we were going to Land Between the Lakes and wouldn't be until late that night because, it was a longer drive. Went to my first motocross race. Won my first motocross race in, I think it was the B class or something. and I come back in late that night. I took my trophy, set it on the kitchen table, so that it would be the first thing that my mom and dad seen when they got up the next morning.
Glutton for punishment, huh?
Well, part of me was I knew that there was probably going to be some punishment, and there was another part of me that I wanted to show them that, hey, I can do this. Trying to get them to believe that, to give me an opportunity.
Okay.
And so part of it went over okay. They asked some questions, and part of it didn't go so good. So, but anyway, that was your
debut. In other
that
words,
was my debut.
Well, that's okay. That's cool, and it's cool that you had the desire and you wanted it bad enough to gamble that. Now, of course, you guys are not just the normal farmer. You're big time farmer. How many acres you do now?
We're doing about 2,500 acres of row crop. We've got another 700 or 800 acres that we run cows on, and we're milking 250 head of cow.
Yeah, so it's not like you don't have a lot of time, my friend. You're sort of busy guy.
It seems to get even more so. I help my dad mainly with the row crops. My sister and brother-in-law, they are in with my mom and 3 guys that run the milk operation, and I don't know how it's happened, but in the last couple of years, we've decided to get a couple semis and a bulldozer to run in our free time. So I guess that we're just trying to smother ourselves. And
well, you figure it out here. We just, you got to try a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
what did you got to kiss a lot of frogs before you find a prince? Is that what it is?
I guess that's how it goes.
That's the way it works. I tell you what, guys, we got to take a real quick little break. We're gonna sort of put a little kink in the game on Brother Bill here in just a minute, but you're on Events Radio. You're having a bunch of fun, and we're going to introduce you to another member of the family as soon as we come back. You're on Event Radio, guys. Do not go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Let's face it, when it comes to our vehicles, we all want more these days. More quality, more service, and more choices. So who's delivering more? It's gotta be Final Finish, South Central Kentucky's premier body shop. But Final Finish is different. Sure, they'll work with your insurance company, including AAA, to repair your ride after an accident. But their indoor facilities also accommodate semi-trucks and school buses. And they offer Rhino linings and powder coating. Visit them on Gardner Lane in Morgantown and online at FinalFinishUSA.com. Final Finish, more than just a body shop.
Final Finish really is more than just a body shop. They restored my ultra-cool vintage glider with sandblasting and powder coating. Powder coating looks like paint but acts like armor. They can sandblast and paint or powder coat virtually anything, from classic car parts to patio furniture and porch railings. Final Finish, more than just a body shop, on Gardner Lane in Morgantown.
All right, guys, we are back from Lynchburg Motorcycle Rally. We have come to meet a gentleman that I think one of the most important things that go on at any rally, anywhere, you need to be educated on a thing called the Trail of Tears. And first off, tell us your name, sir.
My name is Lewis Hutton.
Lewis, where are you from, my friend?
I'm from Arab, Alabama.
I know where that is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just go to Huntsville, turn left. I know right where it is.
Yeah, it's up on the mountain.
The Trail of Tears. Tell us a little bit about that, would you please?
Well, the Trail of Tears happened in 1838, and it was called the Indian Removal Act of 1835, I believe is what started it. And they rounded up all the Indians in the southeast and marched them to Oklahoma to the reservation. And the route they take is the route that we ride across northern Alabama from Bridgeport to Waterloo. And then several of our members go on to Oklahoma to the reservation. But we're riding in remembrance of the Indians and what happened to them, unfortunately, in our history. We're trying to bring honor and respect to the tribes. And we take donations here for T-shirts that we give away. And the money that we gather, we use strictly for Indian purposes. We put up road signs commemorating the ride. And we give away scholarships to Indians that are deserving, and that's what the Trail of Tears Remembrance Ride's about.
Well, it's really, really a neat thing, guys. If you do any history at all, such a cool thing to honor. I've always said everybody talks about getting a raw deal in this country. The Indians are the ones that got the real raw deal.
I'm telling you.
Over everybody else. And they can have all their little organizations, all of them they want to, but they're the ones that got the shaft.
Yeah, there's over 3,000 of them died on that march to Oklahoma.
Really?
Yeah, they lost a lot
And it's
of
the
people.
exact trail that you go on, isn't it?
Yeah, we have markers that we put up. Markers. Our group, the commemorative ride group, has put up markers, historical markers, all the way across the state of Alabama and all the way to Oklahoma.
Actually, how long is that, sir?
It's about across Alabama. Our ride is about 168 miles.
But the whole Trail of Tears is how long?
It's about 700 miles, I believe.
Yeah, I thought it was just a little shy of 800. I don't remember exactly because I have researched that because I think it's so fascinating. Plus, my wife's grandmama was full-blooded Cherokee, so I have a little hidden interest there.
Yeah, I got three kinds of Indian in me. I got Cherokee, Choctaw, and Creek.
Cool.
I'm a menagerie of Indians.
Well, that's all right. Ain't nothing wrong with that. All of them that I've had the pleasure of meeting have been really great people. So I've got a buddy that not quite full blooded, but really, really close. And we're just dear friends. I mean, just great guy.
The thing about that whole deal was the Indians that got removed were not warlike Indians.
No,
they were civilized Indians. They had established towns. As a matter of fact, we were up last weekend to commemorate the DeKalb County Memorial Tourism Site, and right there where you come across from Tennessee into Alabama and go into DeKalb County, there's a marker there that says there was an Indian town that was established there. There's an Indian town that was established there in like 1830 or something.
Really.
And it had been there since then, but they removed them.
Oh yeah, and that's just and they not only got removed there, but they got removed from the whole country. And guys, you need to remember that this was their house before it became our house.
They're the original Americans.
They're the original Americans, 100% through and through. And I commend you, sir, for doing the Trail of Tears thing. I think that is the most awesome thing that we have run into at this whole rally.
Well, we do it from the bottom of our hearts.
Well,
we really believe
those are the causes, guys, that make a difference. The ones that do it for the check. That's sort of a waste.
Nah, we don't make a dime.
Nah, no, you don't, my friend.
It's all nonprofit.
Make your way down, guys. Get a hold of it. Let me ask you something. Is there a website they can go on if they just want to send some money?
Here it is.
I can't see it. You got to tell me.
HTTP al-tn-trailoftears.net.
Okay, one more time.
al-tn-trailoftears.net.
Wonderful thing, guys.
Right on our website.
Send it there. Send them a great big check, and I'm sure they'll send you a T-shirt. And we want to thank you for being on Event Radio. We really appreciate it. And guys, this may be the most deserving booth that we go to on our whole day. We appreciate it. We will be right back, guys.
Quick Fuel Technology, the innovators in fuel systems, introduces the latest in high-temperature coating technology for select street and performance carburetors. QFT's new Black Diamond series features a unique satin black Teflon coating that provides award-winning good looks and lasting durability. The Black Diamond series is impact-resistant, repels all underhood chemicals, and reduces fuel temperature by 6% for improved performance. The Black Diamond series by Quick Fuel, the ultimate in form and function.
All right, guys, we're back, and got my old buddy here, that Mr. Ty Martin, and buddy, doggone, we've been friends for how long?
Since I was a kid.
Oh, thanks a lot. We constantly are at each other with slams, and he always gets me. I can't I really think that's a bummer. You've been riding bikes for that long, really, all kidding aside. When did you first get into the drag? What made you decide to do that? Because you got cars too.
Right. Yeah, I was about 15 years old when I really, really decided, I was just going to be a drag racer.
Well, okay. And the bikes, why did you start there?
I had an uncle of mine, and he had a bike, and I was a kid, and I just kind of fell in love with it, and so far and on, and then we went, and I started going to all these drag races, and before you know it, I was one of them.
Well, there you go.
Well, a lot of the people now, they start out with their uncle, their daddy, or their mama even. They get in drag racing or friends.
Yes.
And it's a family affair. I
Well,
mean,
yeah, and it's easy to get bit by the bug because it is a lot of fun. It doesn't make any difference if you start out bracket racing or what you do. You're going to constantly get bigger and bigger and bigger. And you've got number one son in it too now, huh?
I've got my son racing. My wife, she also rides.
I knew she did. I was going to get around to her spanking you right good, but I didn't want to did on that right to start with.
Yes. Actually, my son, he started racing at a very young age. He was about 12 years old when I first let him make his first pass.
All right.
And, he actually went really fast his first pass. He went like an 8:30 at 160-something mile an hour at 12 years
The
old.
very first run at
Yeah.
12 mile an hour? Wow.
Child services would be talking to you now.
Yeah.
Oh, there were several people who wasn't very happy about that.
Yeah, it's TM Motorsports out on Dishman. No. Oh, child abuse. No, you're not listening. We know. No, I tell you what, he's a nice young man. And drag racing, doesn't drag racing do a lot for family?
Oh, it's very family oriented. I mean, you go to the racetrack and see lots of families there. It's a nice place, for everybody to go.
And
Vivian and I was talking earlier, sorry to jump in on you, but you meet friends now that would be friends 100 years from now.
Forever.
Yeah.
Something just about the racing concept. It's not like somebody you used to party with in high school. You make some real friends now.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and all the troubles, and we don't want to get into this on this show, but all the troubles that go on to the world don't play at the racetrack.
That's
We're
right.
all buddies, we're all friends, and all that other stuff's just a bunch of crap.
Yes.
And then that's the way it should be in life too. If everybody was a drag racer, we wouldn't have any problems.
It'd be a real good world.
Might be a lot more divorces.
Yeah, everybody be broke. We wouldn't be any money or nothing. So what gave you the idea to do TM Motorsports?
Well, actually, we've always worked at our home garage, and my son graduated from high school. 2 weeks later, he was at Daytona at Wyotech. He went to school there, and as soon as he got out of school, we got everything set up. About a year later, we opened up TM Motorsports.
And man, you guys work on. You do. In the intro, I said you do a little bit of everything, but you really do.
Yes.
If you work on some of the, drag race bikes are just phenomenal that come out of here. But you do street bikes, you do cruisers, you do you build custom stuff. You do all kinds of stuff.
Yes, we do, cars, trucks, bikes, a little bit of everything. I mean, we are a motorsports shop. So,
and of course, being right next door almost to our buddies at Quick Fuel doesn't hurt,
yes,
does it?
That's an advantage,
Yeah,
Real
you
good
get
guys.
Oh, yeah, you get a little insight. If you got a question or a problem, your answer is just 2 doors down.
It's right next door.
Yeah, there you go.
Well,
there
looking
you go.
at some of these bikes in here, Spiv, we walked back through there looking at some of them, especially the ones sitting here on the floor. It looks like a space shuttle. I mean, them cats at NASA couldn't put this together.
Oh, listen, they're just so far ahead of what you would. Next time you're at a race, guys, walk up and really look at one of these things. You'll see some technology that's out of sight. That's out. Did you learn most of this from just trying it and this don't work and this does, or how did you do it?
Yes, it was a lot of trial and error.
Was it?
A lot of trial and error, and I mean, it still is, I mean, time is so fast now, I mean, everything changes from day to day.
Well, now that you're the big dog of the family, do you just let everybody else do it and you just sort of lay back and watch, or what?
No, I wish it was that easy. But actually, me and my son put some long hours in this place, I mean, long hours every day.
Well, you have to be successful
Yes.
in anything,
Yes.
Yeah, that's something people don't realize. When you're the head guy, the head guy means you do everything to make the money, and you clean the bathrooms, and you mop the floors, and you do everything else along with it.
You're everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what makes you successful. Is you got the desire to do all that stuff, and not just say, "Well, I'm too good to do that,"
Oh, yes.
And it just doesn't work. What's your favorite part of the business?
My favorite part really now is just, seeing the people that come in. I mean, we get to work on a lot of bikes, a lot of people that, didn't know that we really worked on anybody else's, So.
Well, and just since we've been here, guys, the people that have come in and out of this place, you got Mr. Steve Matukas, which is one of the best chassis builders in the country. He's building a new car for Jack Roush's daughter. He's in here hanging out for a while. You got Teddy Barlow, which runs the new Barlow deal, Teddy's mail order deal, where you can buy parts for anything drag race wise, and he's got a killer drag race car. Yes. And you just, this is sort of drag race central during the day, evidently.
Yes, I mean we have a lot of people in and out. You know,
I'm waiting for you to break out the grill, buddy.
Hey, we was going to. The weather kind of played effect on it today. But,
okay, all right. Yeah, it's fun business. Fun business.
Yes.
Which out of all the drag bikes you've had, and I know you've had a boatload of them because I've seen a boatload of them, and I've watched you for years. Which one was your favorite?
My favorite is the no wheelie bar bikes, which we like to run. You know, we can go to the track, run 200 mile an hour, and if we wanted to, we could ride them home.
Now, do they use like a slipper clutch, like a funny car dragster or something?
Well, no, actually, you know, they're hand clutch. I use the same clutch from you'd go buy at any other bike shop.
Really?
OEME product. Yes.
So it's talent in doing it, not equipment doing it.
Yes.
You know, because we watched it at
talent
the Harley.
And guts.
Yeah. Or maybe he's hit his head a couple of times. I don't know. But I enjoy watching. I'm like you, Terry. I wouldn't leave the electric chair to get on some of them things. But you know, I've admired you doing it for years, watching you do it, because it takes talent, my friend. You got to have it, you know.
Well, I believe he's got a fella getting ready to step in his shoes and might spank him here in a day or two.
You think he would?
I don't know. It seems like his kid's getting off fast.
Yeah, well, they do that. You know, you know what's really
kid,
cool?
I mean young man. He's getting off fast.
But what's really cool, and I know you'll be able to verify this, being dad, when they sit around and they're not playing with stuff and they're watching you, they're actually learning from you, and you're not even saying a thing. You know what I mean? They're watching you do what you do so well. And then they say, now, has he ever come up and said, oh, man, I'm going to whip you?
Well,
it's coming.
He was probably 12 years old, building my clutch for me to make the next pass as I was running the Pro Street Series.
You're kidding.
Yes.
So he's learned it from that early an age.
Yes. He's been working on them for a while. I mean, it was unbelievable that, you know, most people was like, you know, your kid's over there doing something with your clutches. And I'm like, yeah, he's over there getting ready for the next round.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing. He's not playing with it. He knows what he's doing.
That made a proud daddy, too, didn't it?
Yes.
Oh, man, I imagine.
Yes. You know,
and you know, with it being family, you know it's done right, other than somebody you'd hired just to do that. You
that's
know,
right,
you don't.
You know. I mean,
that's one less worry.
Yeah, I mean, you know, he was a kid. He could have been playing in the pitch, but he was over there doing work.
Well, you sparked his interest and made it right. You've got a bike sitting here that we're looking at that you are building right now.
Yes.
That Steve Matukas was in here going to do some fabrication stuff for you. Yes. It's a turbocharged. What is it?
It's a turbocharged Hayabusa. One off. I mean, we've done everything, you know, I mean, ground up. I mean, it's one of a kind. You know, it's carbon fiber. I mean, it's got the same brakes as an airplane.
It needs them.
I tell you got two Hayabusas, and I know you know how to ride both of them. But how much difference will there be between getting on yours and getting on this one?
Difference in ice cream and poop.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, to me, the regular Hayabusa is a bad boy.
It's the baddest thing I've ever ridden, and I just could not, seriously, I couldn't imagine how these guys ride these things so correctly. I mean, anybody could ride it but just not make it down the track.
Yeah.
These guys do it right.
Well, yeah, they do it like it was in slow motion or something, and it's so fast, it's just unbelievable. Is there anything out there that's quicker than a Hayabusa right now, or is that it?
To my knowledge, Hayabusa is the world's fastest.
Wow.
But don't some magazines, they'll claim that the Kawasaki is
yes,
and the Hayabusa is
there's
other
a lot of magazines that claim a lot of stuff, but I mean, pound for pound.
Kind of makes you wonder who they took out wine and dine the night before.
Who's buying the most ads in the book?
Yeah, exactly.
I guess,
exactly. But pound for pound, I mean, I'll go to races all over the world, and still to today, the Hayabusa is the fastest.
All right, let me ask you. There are certain parts, I'm sure, that you guys don't make. You make a lot of the pieces for your bike, but you buy them. Is there one that's better than somebody else? I'll give you a chance to give them a free plug here, but
or make somebody mad.
Yeah, or make somebody mad. Either way, yeah.
Really, most of our parts that we're using on, you know, the new bike, or basically from overseas. I mean, it's a lot of stuff that haven't even made it over here.
Really? And you got connections from your race experience to know who to call and what to get. And,
yes.
Well, that's cool, because I know that any time that you unload these things, I've been to the racetrack and watched you unload these things. It's like unloading a bunch of honey in front of a bunch of bears, because they all just come and get around it and checking it out and all that, because they know you got the latest and greatest,
You're right.
5 years from now, what's TM Motorsports going to be doing?
5 years from now, our goal is to have this place, this motorsports thing, as big as we can get it. I mean, we're doing cars, we're doing wheels, we're doing tires, we're doing, cruisers, we're doing, everything. So, we just want to keep this thing going and build it.
So y'all don't just pull certain brands. There's a lot of dealerships that, well, you've got a certain year so and so, and we don't work on that, or we won't do this because it's not this. You pretty much will take care of the customers, whatever it takes, right?
We're taking everything in, from the metric bikes to American. It don't matter. My son went to school at YO Tech, which he'll be here speaking just here in a minute, and he learned to work on everything. So we have no reference.
Well, TM Motorsports sells used bikes too, doesn't he?
We sell used bikes.
A friend of mine come by, and Mr. Kelly Cherry, and his son come by and got that Harley Davidson from him, and he stopped by the house, and that's a beautiful motorcycle. And I thought you guys were just in the metric race bikes, but seen some of the customs you've done, and they're fabulous.
Well, I tell you what, I saw a white bike back there with a tire on it bigger than my belly.
Yeah, don't need a kickstand on that one.
Yeah, buddy, I tell you what, if I thought my gut would fig over the tank, me and him be talking. That's the only problem. I can't ride those things. I don't lay down like that. I like them, but I can't ride them.
I will custom build you one.
Yeah, I want the scooter. I want the blown turbocharged scooter or whatever this thing is back here. Listen, my friend, it's been fun, and it's always great to see you. And you just sort of opened the door for us and let us come in here and go through and look at and see and ask questions, and it's cool. It's cool to have buddies like you, and I want you to know I appreciate the friendship, along with you taking the time to do this little show with us, because we've been wanting to for a long time and just can't ever get our schedules together. But we finally made this one. We finally made this one. Guys, the one and only. And the only way you're going to probably be able to see this guy is from the rear going down the drag strip, because you'll be in the other lane, but you'll be behind.
If he won't beat you, his son will.
Yeah, if he won't beat you, the other TM. The other TM. We're going to call TM1, TM2. Yeah. There you go. We're going to take another quick little break, guys, and we're going to get TM2 on here. Good. Be like R2-D2 or whatever it is on Star Wars or whatever. But no, guys, my buddy Ty, the man that actually the guy that founded TM Motorsports, we appreciate you being with us. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you coming out.
All right, guys. We're going to take a real quick another break, guys, and we will be right back.
Let's face it, when it comes to our vehicles, we all want more these days. More quality, more service, and more choices. So who's delivering more? It's gotta be Final Finish, South Central Kentucky's premier body shop. But Final Finish is different. Sure, they'll work with your insurance company, including AAA, to repair your ride after an accident. But their indoor facilities also accommodate semi-trucks and school buses. And they offer Rhino linings and powder coating. Visit them on Gardner Lane in Morgantown and online at finalfinishusa.com. Final Finish, more than just a body shop.
Final Finish really is more than just a body shop. They restored my ultra-cool vintage glider with sandblasting and powder coating. Powder coating looks like paint but acts like armor. They can sandblast and paint or powder coat virtually anything, from classic car parts to patio furniture and porch railings. Final Finish, more than just a body shop, on Gardner Lane in Morgantown.
All right, guys, welcome back to the flat track races from Lebanon, Tennessee. And we run upon a gentleman. This is not his first rodeo. What is your name, sir?
Jim Masters.
Jim, where are you from, my friend?
Gallatin, Tennessee.
Well, that's not very far.
No, that's the reason I'm here.
Oh, is it? Okay. But you told me you've done this quite a while.
Well, I started racing in 1956, and I run the Daytona 200 in 1958 on an old machine I bought from Nashville. The guy that had a motorcycle shop in Nashville. It was a 45 Harley that he'd raced for years. And a friend of mine from Bowling Green, Hardin Mays, he was my buddy. And we went to Daytona, and I ended up in the ocean. But I got to finish the race in '58.
Now, how in the world did you end up in the ocean? Tell us about that. I got to know about this deal.
I lost the chain.
Oh, you wasn't trying to go skinny dipping or nothing.
I going dead on into the last turn there, the far end of the track, and I lost the chain wrapped around my machine and throwed it back into it out of a sink, and I ended up in the ocean. So we spent the night under the old lighthouse down there, getting all the water out of it. And I got back on the track next day. So,
yeah, but ain't them the memories that are fun?
Me a water dog.
Oh, really? Did that name stick with you then?
The Tennessee Water Dog.
Well, yeah, everywhere I go, the old boys are still living. They called me the Water Dog.
All right, now you told me you raced with a fella that Terry's dad was big buddies with, a fellow by the name of Raymond McClard, and he was the Harley dealer in Bowling Green.
He was also the jailer.
Yeah, and actually had a parrot that cussed everybody. You remember that?
Yeah.
I can remember my dad, Jim, saying that Raymond, he was flagged with the beach bend on the motorcycle races, and that he had a sidecar on the side of this old Harley, and he would fill it up with ice and have it beer ice down after the races. Yeah. It kind of sounds like him, don't it?
Yes, sir. That's him. He used to give me all the old parts. He threw it away, and we made it happen with them old parts. You know, today you couldn't buy them for love and the money.
Well, no.
No, I tell you what, it's amazing. The internet, I think, has stepped up the old nostalgia stuff more than anything going, because it's exposed it to everybody in the world. You know,
exactly right.
And if you had it back in a barn or something, there wouldn't be very many people other than two crazy picker guys that might show up. But boy, the internet just searches out and finds it. What do you do now, sir?
Well, I had a landscaping company for 15 years. I closed. Prior to that, I was a bread man. I worked for Colonial Bread Company for 36 years. 15 years in landscaping, 6 years with the City of Gallatin. I'm all the right away.
Really? That's cool. That's all right.
77 years old, still racing.
Yeah, still racing.
That's awesome. What class you running in this week?
I'm just running Mad Dog here. We practiced yesterday at the fairgrounds. I put on a swap meet there yesterday at 4. And Southgate and we practiced over there yesterday evening until about 5 o'clock.
The two most experienced men here, and they act like they need practice.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Now, how long you known old Charlie?
I rode a bicycle from Gallatin, Tennessee when I was 13 years old to get Charlie's daddy to weld it for me because I didn't have any money. So I met Charlie when he was on a tricycle.
Did you really? So you guys been friends for a couple of days.
Well, we off and on. I've been knowing him probably 65 years.
Can you outrun him on a motorcycle?
No way, brother.
No way.
No way.
He rides a motorcycle like you'd ride a sidecar around the wall.
Well, when I first started racing, Southgate was already was expert. I mean, he was like a grown up then to me, and he spanked me regular for a long time. And when I did beat Charlie, I was proud of that. Notice I said when I did, not that many times, but Charlie's kind of a legend around here, like you, Jim.
Well, I'm not a legend, son. I'm a wannabe.
Well,
no, you still are. That's for sure. You ain't quit, my friend.
You're racing today, and
I'm quitting. I had a stroke 5 years ago, and then 4 days later, I raced a motorcycle.
Well, all right.
Hey, now that's the way it ought to be done. Now I'm telling you,
I'm not gonna give up till I lay down. That's it.
Well, that's all right. There ain't nothing wrong with that.
I don't win nothing. I run DL, and everybody asked me one time, "Why do you run DL for?" I said, "Dead last."
Yeah, but MF, most fun.
I'm still here though.
There you go, my friend.
Hey, I tell you what, this is what makes the vintage race cool, is to come and get to talk to guys like you that have lived it, that have been the record makers and record breakers their whole life, and like you said, running the Daytona 200, running all those cool things that you did. That's just awesome. That's wonderful.
We made it happen with stuff today that would cost a lot of money to buy, but then it was junk.
Well, that's okay. That's all right.
You make somebody else's junk is my treasure.
Did you ever run Beach Bend when it was a flat dirt track?
I was on that first race, in that first race.
Well, Terry's dad and 2 more guys are the reason that's there. They're the ones that laid out Beach Bend Raceway. And so you came to the first one, huh?
I was there at the first one, and Charlie Garvin let us in free because it cost a dime, and he let me in free.
Well, you put on a show for him, and he probably made.
I wasn't putting on a show. I was young, but I was ready to go.
Well, what was it like? Let me ask you something. What was it like comparing racing back then to today? Can you even get it close?
I'm going to be honest with you. There's nobody races today like they did then.
That's what I've always heard.
Tell me what's different.
What's different is they got more guts then than we got now.
Really?
They had less equipment to work
Right.
with.
But also, Jim, when they're running narrow tires and no brakes.
Yes, sir. I never knew what a brake was till I had to race here five years ago. I didn't even have one.
That's why you was going so fast.
I couldn't afford the brake lines.
Well, I understand, but were they better then than they are now?
I would say we got some good racers across the nation, but I don't think none of them compare to the 50s and 60 boys that's out there.
Joe Leonard, Bart Markle.
We don't have that many races to run on, and they can't get as good as they was back then.
Okay, I understand. Well, and sometimes technology is not a good thing. You know what I mean? I mean, when you start out doing it, it's sort of if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Yeah. And people fix a lot of stuff that really don't need fixing.
I opened up the fairgrounds in Gallatin, Tennessee 3 years ago, and we had our first flat track race there. Charlie Southgate's daddy was champion there in a sprint car.
Uh-huh.
He built himself, and it's hanging in the ceiling right now in Indiana. Somebody bought it, but he's been trying to get it back. But back in those days, they didn't race motorcycles on that fairground. So 3 years ago, I decided to put one on. And this last year, we had one at the fair in June. We're going to have one Saturday night at the fair in June again this year.
Well, that'll be cool. That'll be neat.
Under the lights, and I've got 3 Hall of Famers going to be there to help me put it on. And
shoot, we might come down there and do a little radio with you.
Well, we was going to come this year, but we was already obligated to go to Indiana.
Yeah.
So it'll be probably June 29th. I don't know, somewhere around that.
Well, we're going to give you a card, and if you'll send us an email, or if you don't fool with it, get somebody
contact me, Jim.
Yeah, or contact T and let us know. We may try to work that out. We like doing new stuff, Well,
if I could have you down to my fair race, put on a show for us.
Hey, well, I tell you what, buddy, I don't know. You probably wouldn't want our show to see that, but this little thing, we actually can expose you to a lot of people. This little show goes all over the world. We've introduced you to a bunch of folks that you didn't know that know you now.
Yeah.
And that's pretty cool, pretty neat.
I appreciate it very much.
Well, listen, my friend, we're going to cut you loose because you're going to have to go out here and play a while, and we can't stop you from playing.
That's awful words to hear. I've got to go play.
Yeah.
My wife didn't come with me, so I got to do my own thing here.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Listen, thank you so much for taking a minute to be on Event Radio. It has been our pleasure and our honor to have you join us and shed a little history with us that about the flat track racing and how cool it really is.
Just to have a guest that raced the Daytona 200 on the beach is pretty doggone awesome.
Yeah.
They closed that track 2 years later after I run, and
well, it's because you run off the ocean. See, if you hadn't run off the ocean,
I got a picture of it in my trailer I want you to see before you leave.
All right, well, I want to see it. Guys, you're on Event Radio. We're having just too much fun from the Lebanon flat track races. And buddy, our guest probably will not be any better than who we just interviewed to you, but we're going to sure give it a shot. We'll be right back, guys.
Quick Fuel Technology, the innovators in fuel systems, introduces the latest in high-temperature coating technology for select street and performance carburetors. QFT's new Black Diamond series features a unique satin black Teflon coating that provides award-winning good looks and lasting durability. The Black Diamond series is impact-resistant, repels all underhood chemicals, and reduces fuel temperature by 6% for improved performance. The Black Diamond series by Quick Fuel, the ultimate in form and function.
All right, guys, we are back with our first victim from the flat track races in Lebanon, Tennessee. I'll come awake here.
Vintage flat track.
Yeah, I'll get awake here in a little bit. I'm just a little slow and old and fat and stuff, and that works, But we have our first guest, and the microphone and all is very, very friendly to him because he does it all the time. Mr. Kevin Lynn, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great.
Yeah, you look like you're having fun out there. The fun police will get you.
Yeah, we had a little trouble getting here. Made about 9 U-turns, but we're here.
You got the same GPS we got.
Yeah, that's contradicting ourselves all the way
Yeah,
here.
boy, I tell you what, ours says you put the thing in, she said, I ain't got a clue.
I about threw her out the window a few times, just drag her by the cord.
That just put her on the bike and take her for a ride. There you go.
Well, Kevin, what are you riding here today?
Well, riding Suzuki.
All right.
RM450Z.
Oh, one of them bad boys.
Yeah, the RMZ. I got so many of them here, I can't tell.
Well, I seen that 22 is just about on about half of them here, so you take your pick, huh?
Yeah. I got Chris Boone going to ride my vintage 500 bike in the money class.
Well, I'd say that'd be a pretty safe bet.
Yeah, I'm got my money on him.
Are you saying are you saying he comes the bank deposit slip? Is that what you're saying?
Sir.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, it's good when you got a rider that you feel that confident about.
Yeah, he's all right.
Well, he's a good rider. I seen him down in where was it? Huntsville was running, or Decatur, and he was spanking everybody pretty good.
Yeah, he's old school. He raced the WKCRA races back in the day. He's pretty good.
Okay, good. Well, how's this new PR man photos coming out? You a man of many trades.
Well, it's going all right. It's take a few pictures here and there and get a whole lot of likes on Facebook is about it. But
well, hey, that's a good deal. We've been fortunate on our little deal that Facebook is pretty friendly to us, and we actually use that to announce our upcoming shows, which is a new one every Monday. Yeah. So that's pretty cool. I think photographers are neat guys. Because you can look right over there at that tree and you see everything about that tree behind it. And where Terry and I look at the tree, you see what I mean? But when you're used to capturing stuff on a picture, you look at the whole deal, you know.
It helps to be an amateur rider, too. You know what spots to get the good shots.
You know what's getting ready to
I'm going
happen.
to fall right here, right? But that's pretty cool. And another thing I think is really cool about photographers is you do something that nobody in the world can do. You stop time, and if you think about that, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, a lot of people just don't care nothing about taking pictures anymore. It used to be a photographer every track,
And that's a shame because when you get old like Terry and I.
Terry's old.
Yeah, he is. He's a vintage. That's why we're at the vintage races, and not the current.
Thank
deal.
you, Kevin.
Yeah,
no
but you guys actually record the memories for us guys when we got old, and at the time, and Terry and I have talked about this a lot. I raced alcohol funny cars. Of course, Terry was a motorcycle guy, and now we look back at those pictures, and we thought that we don't care about that photography crap. And now that's probably the most valuable thing we got because it's memories.
Show people, prove we're not lying.
Well,
right.
but it brings back memories.
Yeah, I like looking at old pictures on Facebook. That's about all I do on there is look at old vintage motorcycle stuff.
Well, if you ever stop by the house on your next trip to Bowling Green, you're gonna come out in the garage. You're gonna get off on that now. It's
that's Pee Wee's Playhouse.
Pee Wee's Playhouse on motorcycles.
I uploaded a bunch of Bobby Lewis's pictures. He took a lot of pictures back in the day, and some of his are on the internet now. So.
Well, back when Earl and I was running novice like that, we was about the only drivers from Kentucky you see in the program. Now, Owensboro and Princeton, and they're putting out riders everywhere.
There was Dwayne Houghton back in the day.
Dwayne was bad.
He was from my hometown.
Good bad. Yep.
I remember I heard of him, and of course all I did was follow and everything that I ever did, even riding at night. A couple of motard bikes that Hot Dog here has the one, and I had a beater. But I couldn't keep up with him. But it was at least fun. You know?
BMW beater.
Well, it was a beater. It wasn't fast enough. But other than that, I've always been a huge motorcycle fan. I've never been really good on one, but I really liked them. You know, and I'm very envious to watch you guys out here. I think that's
well. Actually, this year is the first place I raced.
Was it really?
Because I've been racing that long.
Yeah, I can remember Bebop was telling me when you started here. What's that been? 4 or 5 years ago, maybe, Kevin?
About 4 years ago. I think it was the second one he did here.
Yeah. Getting back to Dwayne, what's he still around? Him and his dad, or
Dwayne? His dad passed a few years ago.
Good fella.
Yeah, he's a good mechanic too, and. Now Dwayne working in the coal mines.
Coal mines. Okay. Last time I seen Dwayne, he had made Expert, had an XR, riding it to Louisville Downs, and that was the year that that fool out of the crowd run in and hit
bad thing.
And Davy Jones hit him. And
I've read stories on that.
yeah, I was. This is no lie. I was within 10 foot of. We was in the infield there, and this guy just comes running across the track with a half pint in his hand, and Davey never got out of tuck position and hit him, and it was a bad deal. But that's the last time I talked to Dwayne, and I've heard rumors that's why Dwayne.
Yeah, pretty much. That's a just.
Well, I would just about do it to anybody because they was pretty tight.
Sort of knocks the wind out of you.
Yeah, I would say so.
Well, yeah, and you let one idiot like that, and you get the press is terrible, even though we're part of it, and we're terrible sometimes. But you cover good news doesn't sell much, but the bad stuff, everybody just hangs in line.
That's one thing I do not do is I do not take a picture of a down rider.
Well, now somebody got me at you probably seen it on Facebook, but I'm right flat on my back, knocked out, slick cold.
Yeah,
and that might be T's last ride. I don't know. I think it broke me for sucking eggs.
I do not do. I see that on there, and I don't like it.
Well, in this guy's defense, he apologized. He said, I normally don't do this, but being it's you, I'm going to do it for you.
Yeah. Did he find one with you 12 foot in the air backwards or something?
No, just on the ground, knocked the slick out.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Kevin, how do people get a hold of you if they want to get a hold of your PR Man photos?
Facebook.
Facebook?
I got a page on there. It's PR Man Photos.
But do you do pictures of everything or just bikes or what?
Mostly flat track, and I got a motocross track there in Dawson Springs that I take a lot of high flying photos of there. But
you doing any backflips yet?
No, sir.
Not on purpose, anyway.
No, I just take pictures of those guys.
Yeah, I don't understand all that deal, buddy. I don't think I couldn't do that. I don't believe.
Well, listen, we're going to get off here. We appreciate you taking time to help us out here a little bit.
It's good to be here. I know Scooter is trying really hard here, and I wish more people would support him.
Well, they can't blame the weather today.
No, they cannot.
No, it's a nice day.
I mean, it'd be a good day to get hung.
Well, I don't know about that. I believe I'd want to at least go to the concession stand first, get a long ride.
Well, Kevin, we appreciate you coming, and good luck today. Give them a spanking. Give them them old Kentucky spankings, these Tennessee boys.
We're going to try.
All right. Good luck, Chris, too. Not that you're going to need it.
Yeah.
All right.
On the track or on the street, the #1 brand in performance is Holley. Have you heard about the Ultra Street Avengers, Ultra Double Pumpers, Ultra HP, and Ultra Dominator carburetors? They're ultra light, ultra cool, and ultra fast. Holley carbs are the most powerful carbs money can buy with no further modifications. Holley, winning performance for over 100 years.
All right, guys, if you think the Lynchburg Motorcycle Rally is not a cool place, we ride down through here and we find our favorite staple food,
a moon pie.
A moon pie, and we got the moon pie man with us. What is your name, sir?
My name is Lucas Waller, and I work for the Moon Pie General Store located on the square in Lynchburg, Tennessee.
And so we can come down here anytime we want to and get the real deal, a real moon pie, right?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
And you got several flavors you're passing out, buddy. I tell you what, you're going to be our horse if you never win a race. You know it?
Thank you. That makes me...
Well, I know that moon pie outfit's got to be a little hot there.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about putting them in the oven, buddy.
Yeah, this is going to be my last round because if I go any more, they have to give me hazard pay.
Oh, yeah, well, okay, I tell you what, and you're going to sure enough make moon pie diet food if you keep on going with that thing, because you're gonna just shrink up to nothing as hot as it is out here. How long have you been in the moon pie business, buddy?
At least 3 years now. I've been the moon pie man for 3 years now.
Hey, I'm telling you what. Can you imagine, tell you what that'd be like to be able to be the moon pie man?
I think it's pretty cool myself, baby.
Hey, I think it's great. I love it.
Walk around, listen to good music, look at real pretty women.
Yeah.
That's part of the job, though, ain't it, man?
Yeah. It's in the job description.
Let me ask you something. How long has moon pie been in existence, you know?
Longer than I have.
Okay, all right. That's a good enough answer.
Yeah.
And they come in how many flavors?
Oh, at least 20.
No kidding.
I didn't know that.
Can we go to the moon pie store and check out all 20 flavors?
Absolutely, you can.
Oh, buddy. Well, I tell you what, we're going to go up there before we leave here, and we're going to check it out, guys. If you're listening to us anywhere in the world, and you don't realize that, but this little show goes everywhere in the world. Can they get on your website and actually y'all ship them moon pies?
I believe so.
Well, all right, if they got one, have you got a website for them to look at?
www.moonpiegeneralstore.com.
That ought to work
That'll
for
put
me.
you right through.
MoonPieGeneralStore.com, buddy. Lynchburg, Tennessee.
Tell them Moon Pie Man sent you.
Yeah, that's right. You tell him the Moon Pie Man sent you, and he took care of the old fat guy and the old broke-down motorcycle guy on Event Radio. And, buddy, this is happening. Thank you so much for not only being on our little show, but supplying us with lunch. We appreciate it.
No problem. I'm glad that you guys had me on.
Hey, buddy, we enjoyed it. We'll be right back, guys.
Thanks a lot, Moon Pie.
Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed the bike end of our shows, the Premier Bike Edition, I guess you would call it. I really don't know exactly what the name of it's going to be, but the bike rides that make up so much fun out of everything that T and I get to do. We appreciate more than you know you joining us on Event Radio. We hope that with our new format, we're going to bring you a lot of exciting stuff. I think it's really cool to have the pictures to see who we're talking to while we're talking to them. Sort of makes it a little bit better than doing it. And you can watch this going down the road, or you can watch it on your phone or wherever you want to. And all you got to do now is real simple, eventradiolive.com, and push the little button, and we're right there. So a new show every Monday, and we hope you enjoy them. As always, guys, we never, ever quit a program that we don't thank the people that are most important to us. Number one, you, the listeners. We appreciate you hanging with us through the transition. We appreciate you hanging with us for the last 4 seasons, and we're going to do our best to bring you some really cool shows. We have a lot of fun doing it, and we hope you have fun listening. Of course, we have to thank our sponsors. They are the utmost best in the world, and if we can just do half as good as they do every day, we'll be happy. The great guys at Beach Bend Park, Beach Bend Raceway, and Beach Bend Splash Lagoon. What a fun place, and this summer, $4 million worth of improvements to just the park alone. So make sure you go out there and check it out. It's going to be a lot of fun this year. Of course, the great guys at Holley Performance. If you don't find a part for your hot rod at Holley, my friend, you don't have a hot rod, because all you do is go to Holley.com or pick up the phone and call their tech guys, and with all the brands that they sell, they will be more than happy to try to help you get anything going you want to go on. The great people at Final Finish, what can you say about those guys? They do the utmost best work in the world. All the people at RC Components trust every piece they make to the guys at Final Finish to do an absolutely superb powder coating job. So should you need powder coating or paint or body or whatever for your upcoming year in motorsports, make sure you see the guys at Final Finish on Gardner Lane in Morgantown. They are the top of the mark when it comes to doing what they do. What can you say about the guys at Quick Fuel? Everybody loves Quick Fuel. If you go to the races, there are walls of cars with the Quick Fuel decals. The cars you find in the winner's circle are making the last round of the day at the drag strip. All have Quick Fuel carburetors on them, or 99.9% do. They are the best in the world. They stand behind them. If you're a racer, it never goes out of warranty, because you will find Quick Fuel people at just about every major race, and if you have a problem, they fix it, plain and simple. It's not a big deal. Quick Fuel is the best on the planet, so before you buy a carburetor, please check them out. You will be calling and thanking us. Last but not least, Mr. Jimmy B and the guys at GearheadGazette.com. You can go anywhere in this country you want to an event, but if you'll go to GearheadGazette.com and sort of check it out in advance, you will find out the cool ones from the duds. Gearhead Gazette has no duds. These guys send you to where you learn who, what, when, and where about everything that's cool in the car hobby. So just sort of write that one down or put it in your phone and or wherever where you can check it real often. And GearheadGazette.com is where you need to go. That's how Event Radio finds every event that we go to, and they are great, great people. Once again, thank you so much for listening to Event Radio. We want to bring you shows that you really, really like. Now all our shows, the minute that it finishes, get switched to our archive page. So if you want to play one for somebody, all you got to do is go to eventradiolive.com, pick out the archive page that it's on, and just hit the button, and it will repeat for you. Another beautiful thing about what we are doing now, all our shows are on demand. So all you got to do is touch the button. It's on there, the red button on eventradiolive.com, and play our current show. There it is, just for your listening pleasure whenever you want to listen. We appreciate more than you know your time to listen to us. We want to earn it. We want to make sure you like it. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will talk again.
You've been listening to Event Radio, covering local drag racing, stock car racing, motorcycles, go-karts. If it's got wheels and you can race it, you heard about it here. Event Radio is motorsports radio on steroids. Join us next time with your hosts, Spivey Williams and Terrible T Guy.